Hey everyone, I have a few videos for you guys tonight. The first is a small haul, and the first couple of things I got were, I got A History of Britain, the complete collection, by Simon Schama, written and presented by him, and I'm sorry if I butchered that name, but anyway, this is a documentary series about the history of Britain, and the reason why I got this is because they have an entire episode in this series about the War of the Roses, and the War of the Roses is a historical time period that I only know a little bit about the end of it, basically. I don't know nearly as much as I would like to know about it, especially because I really want to read some of Shakespeare's histories, or, you know, some of his historical plays, and a lot of those take place right before, during, and right after the War of the Roses, and it's something where I really want to know more about the history and, like, the events that happened before I go into these plays, because the thing about plays is that there's always a little bit of poetic license and a little bit of author bias. And yeah, so I really want to be able to know more about the history of it before I read any of the plays. So yes, and what I'm going to do with this series is I'm going to start with the War of the Roses, and then depending on how long this is, I'm pretty sure I have it for 3 weeks because it's a TV series rather than a film. But depending on how long it is, I'm going to go back and start at the beginning and then watch as much as I can the whole way through. But I just want to watch the War of the Roses episode first, just so I know that I definitely get to that. But yeah, I'm excited about this. It looked good and had very good reviews on IMDb. And then next is a kind of this was a very spur of the moment purchase, pickup, because it was at the library, but it is a Jane Austen education, how 6 novels taught me about love, friendship, and the things that really matter. William Darabasiewicz? I don't know how you pronounce that, guys. But anyway, I thought this was really cool because it was right next to another book that I picked up, which I will show you guys in a second. But this just looked really great because I was like, okay, it's a guy writing about Jane Austen teaching him things. Please let me read this, because so often it's ladies, and I love that, that so many women love Jane Austen, including myself. She's my second favorite author of all time. But sometimes I want a guy's perspective where he's actually pro Jane Austen, because I hate it when guys say, I don't like Jane Austen, or I will never read her, or her books aren't relevant. Like, I hate that. So, yeah, I'm excited to read this. And it just has some really great chapter headings. Like, he takes Austen's 6 main novels and then has this particular topic with each one. Like, Emma is Everyday Matters, and I don't know, since I haven't read that chapter, I don't know if the context is Everyday Matters like day-to-day life, or Everyday Matters like live every day to the fullest. Not really sure, but I'll see when I read it. And then Pride and Prejudice is Growing Up, which I thought was very fitting, and the one that, if I don't read anything else in this whole book, the one that I really want to read is Northanger Abbey, Learning to Learn. And it is because Northanger Abbey is my second favorite Austen novel, and it's also the one whose moral message I guess I like the most, because of all of the Austen heroines, I would say the 2 that I am, well, actually 3, I guess, that I am most like are, I kind of feel like I'm a combination of Eleanor Dashwood, Marianne Dashwood, and Catherine Morland. And how I am like Catherine Morland is the whole having my head in the clouds, always reading, being slightly out of touch with reality thing. So I'm very excited to read that. And then we have Persuasion, which is True Friends. Oh, and Mansfield Park is Being Good, which, Fanny Price, that's really all you need to know. And then Sense and Sensibility is Falling in Love. So I would love to read this whole thing. I might read, like, I don't know, 2 chapters a week or something, since there's only like 6 sections. Yeah, I think 2 chapters a week would be a great idea for this. So yeah, I'm really excited about this, and hopefully I will get around to it and it will be very good, I hope. And then we have 84 Charing Cross Road, which is a film from the 80s, starring Anthony Hopkins and Anne Bancroft. And this is based on a book that's kind of like an autobiography / memoir in letters. It was written by Helen, I don't know, I don't know how you say her last name either, but it's Hanff. And the book is Letters, and she was a writer from, I don't know when she was born, but the letters start in the 40s and I think go through to the 60s. And basically she ended up writing a letter to a bookshop in London. She, I believe, lived in New York, and the bookshop was located at 84 Charing Cross Road, and she ended up getting into a correspondence with a man who worked there, and I don't know, since I haven't read the book yet, I don't know if the man was the owner or a manager or just an employee there who worked there for a long time. And yeah, these letters were letters back and forth between the two of them for maybe like 20 years, and that's what the book is. And the thing is, my library unfortunately does not have a physical copy of the book. I think they used to, but I don't know, but I could have sworn they used to have a copy of it, but now they only have the film. So what I've done is I found a audiobook version on YouTube that's like 3 hours long, and I'm really hoping it's an unabridged version, because the book itself is only about 112 pages, so I believe somebody could read that in 3 hours, or could narrate it out loud in 3 hours. So yes, I'm gonna listen to that and then watch this, and I'm very excited. And then last but certainly not least, we have Howard's End is on the Landing, a year of reading from home by Susan Hill. Now, I have a sort of shameful disclaimer to talk about with this book, and that is, a couple years ago I made a video talking about how I wasn't going to read this book because the reviews that I had read online, well, okay, back up. How I found out about this book was from Leslie over at Words of a Reader, and her review was a complete rave. She loved it, and so that's how I found out about the book. And then I went on Goodreads, and I started reading some of the reviews on there, and it was the reviews on there that made me hesitate, because a couple of them said that in regards to some authors, Susan Hill came across as being snobby, like the fact that she doesn't like Jane Austen and things like that. So in this video, I basically said that I loved the idea of this book and that this book inspired me to do my own project. The video that I'm talking about is 40 to 50 books that I would keep. And I was inspired to create that list based on the fact that at the end of this project, Susan Hill wrote down the 40 books that she, if she could only have 40 books in her life, those were the 40 books that she would have. And, oh, and I should say how this project started with this book is she was looking for Howard's End by E.M. Forster in her house, and she couldn't find it. But somewhere along the lines, when she was looking for this book, she found all these other books that she either hadn't read or she didn't even remember buying, or ones that she had read but she wanted to read again because she loved them the first time or the second time or the third time. Yeah, so she just made this project for herself, journey for herself, where she only read the books in her house for a year. She did end up saying that there was a disclaimer where she borrowed academic books from libraries and that she would review books that were sent to her by editors. But aside from that, she was just going to read books in her house. And anyway, so yeah, I read reviews that said that she came across as snobby concerning certain authors. So then I decided to make a video talking about how this book inspired me for this whole list, and then I gave the list, but I said that I wasn't going to read this because I'd seen bad reviews of it, or read bad reviews of it, and yeah, I kind of feel really bad about that now, because I went back and since then, I think Gemma from Nonfic Books has put up a review of this that was also a rave review. So I watched that and I really loved it. And then, and I actually talked to Gemma about it. Like I said, in the reviews that I saw, a couple people were concerned because they said that she kind of came across as snobby for a couple of authors and things like that. And Gemma responded saying, if anything, she's apologetic for not liking authors that other people like. Like, she says that she doesn't, apparently, and, I haven't gotten into this yet, very thoroughly, so I'm not sure exactly what she says concerning Jane Austen, but apparently she doesn't really get along well with Jane Austen, or Jane Austen doesn't get along well with Jane Austen's works, or Jane Austen isn't one of her favorite authors. But apparently she was very apologetic about that. So that kind of made me entirely rethink the fact that I wanted to read this, and then I rewatched Leslie's review from Words of a Reader, and that really made me want to read it. And I just thought, why am I listening to these reviews from people who I don't know their book taste? I've never read another review that they've done, and I'm not listening to these two fantastic ladies who I'm subscribed to their channels, and I completely trust their taste in books because I have very similar tastes. So yeah, I was just like, you need to read this. And since then, because I had recently learned that I was incorrect in my assumptions about the book, I have actually taken down that video, just because I didn't want to be accidentally slanderous or anything. And I wouldn't say it was slanderous, because I wasn't like, oh, Susan Hill is terrible or anything like that. I just said, I don't think it's nice when people like bash authors and they don't even give a proper reason why they don't like them. And, but since learning that that's entirely incorrect to do with this book and to do with Susan Hill's thoughts on these authors, I have taken that down because I'm like, I feel bad and I don't want people to see that. And the thing is, since then, this was like 2 years ago, I believe, maybe 2.5, I feel like my list of the 45 to 50 books that I would keep, has changed, because of the books that I've read since then. So I'm thinking about doing a new video where I make an entirely different list. And then I'll probably do that after I read this, so I can incorporate this, after I've read it, and, be a little more positive about the inspiration for this book. Because, yeah, I just felt really bad when I went back and watched it. I was like, man, why did I post this? So, yeah, I'm very excited about this, and the one thing, this hasn't exactly inspired me to try this project again, because the other thing that video was about was me reading all of my own books in my house, and I'm gonna try to do that as much as possible, but that's more for monetary reasons than, than just wanting, I mean, I do eventually want to read everything I own, but yeah, it's more for monetary reasons that I'm doing that at the moment. And of course, library books. What was I going to say? Yeah, I'll do the 45 to 50 books again. And the thing that this has inspired me to do, in addition to making another one of those lists, is to actually read Howard's End, because I've owned it for quite a while. I really want to be able to watch the film, but I don't want to watch the film until I've read the book. Because I did start to watch the film, and then I was like, you really want to read the book first before you watch the film, definitely. But Room with a View by E.M. Forster is one of my favorite books, and that film has a couple... all of the, no, not all of the same people, but that film also stars Helena Bonham Carter, and she's actually in 3 different E.M. Forster Ivory Merchant production films. She's in Room with a View, Howard's End, and Where Angels Fear to Tread. I think it's Where Angels Fear to Tread. And so Where Angels Fear to Tread and Howard's End are 2 that I haven't read yet that I really want to read. And then I really want to watch the films, because I do love Room with a View with all of my heart, both the film and the book. So I figure the others have to be great as well. So yeah, I'm excited to read this and to kind of do that whole video / project over again. Again, just the picking out what books I would want to keep, not the whole reading only my own books thing. I do eventually want to try that, but not right now. But yeah, so excited for this, and excited for all the other books and DVDs that I got. And thank you guys so much for watching and listening to me ramble, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.